Studies have literally proven that their anxiety and their depression goes down, and they're able to be present and mindful. Hello guys, this video is about being present and being mindful. What an ironic thing that to happen to me right now is I just filmed like 20 minutes of this video and it all just didn't film. So I think this was an opportunity for me to even learn further and deeper into my own points I'll be saying in this discussion as well. I'm gonna basically just reiterate what I said in the video that didn't get recorded. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Karina, I'm a health coach. I help my clients level up their lives. I help with their mindset shifts, identity shifts, living their dream life, getting closer to their potential, becoming their dream selves. All my links are in the description, and I even have a digital planner package with all different types of planners that you can use, reflection sheet, and then I also have a mindfulness guide, which I'm going to go over in this video. I don't want the introduction to be too long, so let's get straight into the video. Mindfulness, presence, all this stuff, you've heard this all before. It is so overdone, but you are still not living in the present moment. What does living in the present moment mean? It means you're actually living in the present moment. You're not thinking about the future. So let's say you waited all day to go to this event, and now you're at the event, and now you're thinking about what you're gonna do when you get home. Let's say you get home, and now you're thinking about what you're gonna do tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow morning comes, and now you're thinking about what you're gonna do that evening. You're constantly never living in the present moment. You're constantly thinking about the future. Constantly thinking about the future leads to anxiety, and constantly thinking about the past, also not being in the present moment, leads to depression. So these are two things I've struggled with in my past, and I know that a lot of people struggle with: anxiety and depression. We're gonna go further into this, but another reason I want to go into is when you're having a discussion with someone. Let's say there's a little bit of an argument or a disagreement, and you're not in the present moment, and you say something that's a reaction and not a response. Let's say they say something to you that really gets under your skin, and you're an emotional person. You're either more on the logical side or you're more on the emotional side. So let's say you're more on the emotional side. That's a little bit like me, okay? I've moved into the logical side because that's kind of like, you know, you have to achieve a little bit of balance. So if you're on the more emotional side like me, your instinctual reaction would be to hurt them back or just kind of show them, oh my gosh, you hurt me, like saying maybe something you didn't mean. And then afterwards you're like, well, I didn't really mean that. That was just emotions talking. And then you're kind of like tainting what you wanted yourself to be perceived as. And the two things we want to do in this situation is preserve our reputation and our self-respect. So how do we reverse this? How do we not have a reaction, and how do we have a proper response? It means present moment, mindfulness, pause and think, okay, well, what does this situation need right now? What is this person trying to talk to me about? Okay, that's all about mindfulness and presence. That's why you need mindfulness and presence. Let's say you're more on the logical side. You're having a disagreement, this person's trying to tell you how they feel, and you're going only from logic. You need to incorporate a little bit of emotion in there. Talk about how you feel. How does what they're saying make you feel? That's gonna help them feel more empathized and sympathized with, rather than just coming from a cold place of logic. That is how we achieve balance. You first have to know yourself and then know what you need. Obviously, like I just said, if you're more on the emotional side, try to incorporate more logic. If you're more on the logical side, try to incorporate a little bit more emotion to even it out, balance it out, so it's not too much fire or too much cold. Like you just saw with my examples, mindfulness and presence is not only important when you're by yourself, like, oh, constantly not living in the moment, constantly thinking of the future, or constantly dwelling in the past, same idea. It also revolves around, like I just said, with other people, so inter and intra-personal relationships. Now, how do we actually develop this mindfulness and this presence? Because this is what makes you a more of a integral and present, more like a sturdy, stable person, more someone that has some presence to her, like, you know what I mean? Someone that comes with self-respect, with reputation, good aura, like someone that you know, like, okay, this person is a solid person. They're usually a more present person. Someone that knows how to take care of themselves, knows how to take care of a situation. This is kind of what we're aiming for and what we're striving for. So developing that mindfulness, developing that presence. How do we do that? Number one is you want to slow things down. See during your day when you are speeding things up. So for me, in my past, I have sped up the mornings, and then that's where my cortisol spikes. Cortisol spikes naturally in the morning regardless, within 30 minutes of waking up, because that's to give your body energy, right? Cortisol isn't always bad. It's to give your body enough energy to go through your day. But you want to stop the spike from being too high where it's causing you to have anxiety or just too stressed to function. You don't want to feel burnt out already, right? So how to do this is slow that morning down. Instead of just rushing into a really hard workout or rushing into doing work, tailor your morning to be more customized to your needs. Customize different parts of your day to be more appealing to these parts of mindfulness and presence. Where do you need the most mindfulness and presence? Maybe it's at work. Maybe like the most mindfulness and presence you're lacking is when you're around others. Maybe when you're home alone, you're fine. You don't need any mindfulness. Presence helps. You don't need any mindfulness. You don't need any presence. You're already good in that category. But when you're around others, oh my gosh, it runs rampant, and you're like, you cannot take a pause. Okay, then that's where you need to focus all the energy. Wherever it is in your life that you need mindfulness and presence, I created a guide for this specific reason because there's mindfulness in different areas. So in this guide, I made a challenge for you guys for 30 days where you're doing certain mindfulness tasks and you're not doing exactly what I tell you, because I don't like to just tell you what to do. I want you to decide what to do. So I gave you a lot of options for mindfulness in different categories of health, and then you can choose based on that which one you resonate the most with, which one you feel comfortable doing, and then you can experiment with different ones. So that's what the guide is about. And then I talk a little bit about mindfulness and how to incorporate more mindfulness into your day and why it's so important. So if you guys want to check that guide out, it's pretty inexpensive. It's on my website. You can check it out in the description. So on to practical things you can do. So obviously you want to do some of the things I mentioned in the guide. In addition to that, I want you to just take a pause and see where you need to slow down the day, like I've said. Okay, so next time you talk to someone that maybe brings you out of your presence, pause every time that you have a response. So instead of reacting, you're responding. This happens by having a pause. This way you're able to think about your response. Instead of just saying the first thing that comes to mind, you're actually able to think about it just for a few more seconds. So every single response you give is just not too much where you're staring at them in the eyes and it's been like minutes, but like a good 10 seconds. Sometimes people are just talking before the other person's even finished talking. Make sure that person is done what they have to say, and then you wait a few seconds. Not only does that person feel properly heard and listened to, but now you're able to give a better response and you're not just giving a reaction. Even sometimes if there's no problem at hand, but the words that you're saying is not what you would have said if you thought about it for a little bit longer. So just take a pause, take some time, and think about what you're going to say. Another thing that helped me in the past so much with my anxiety and depression is to have a little bit of personal time that you've specifically carved out of your day for your own kind of check-in, for your own recharge, reset. So if you're constantly go, 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 you don't have time to reset and feel recharged. So when you go out, when you do something, when you approach a task, you want to feel reset and recharged before you even do that. If you're feeling burnt out and then you push yourself to do something, it's going to be a lot harder to feel mindful and present in that moment. Imagine you're really burnt out. Someone just asked you a simple task, can you just help me print this out? And now you're just you're already stressed because of your day. You didn't take time for yourself. It's better to recharge and reset so that you are giving your best self rather than forcing yourself and pushing yourself to do this thing while you're not at the best state, right? So that's why people always say take care of yourself before you take care of others, because you can't be there for others properly if you're not there for yourself. The worst thing, and the thing I've found recently with people, is if there's someone that's burnt out, I don't want to be around them. If you're burnt out and you're tired from work and you haven't done any self-care, nothing, no self-love, self-care practices, and you just at the end, you're not even going to be present with me when we're talking. I could be talking to you and you're just you're thinking about something else, you're interrupting me, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. You're not really enjoyable to be around if you're unhappy and stressed and burnt out. It's a lot more enjoyable to be around people that are not burnt out, taking care of themselves. And then you may say, well, I don't have any time to do that. Well, let's really take an inventory of your day. What are you doing for the entire 24 hours of your day? Take a real inventory of your day. There's definitely parts of that day that were unproductive that you could have spent doing something to recharge and to reset. Okay, let's just be honest. We all are not productive all the time, but that's the greatest thing to hear, is that you actually have the time and you can carve out some time. When you take inventory of your day and you see, okay, well, I wasted time here, I wasted time here, I wasted time here. That's not something to be sad about. It's something to be happy about, because you're okay, well, now I actually have some time. I can carve out some time in my day. I'm 100% sure you can carve out some time. There's some points of your day that you can carve out to be recharged. Sometimes I'll get some hate comments on my videos. If you are watching this video and you're about to comment like, I have no time, well, you just watched my video. And I guarantee this video is probably longer than 5 minutes once I'm done editing it. And if you had time to do this video, you had time to do a little meditation or a little like breath work to reset yourself. All it takes is 5 minutes of breathing and you feel a lot better, a lot more recharged. You're able to be more present and more mindful. People that have meditated every single day, studies have literally proven that their anxiety and their depression goes down and they're able to be present and mindful. These are literally the most important parts that help you attract the dream aspects of your life that you want. Let's say you have a dream partner in mind. Does your dream partner in mind look burnt out? Probably not, okay? So the last thing you want to do is be burnt out. Your dream partner, maybe you didn't write it down, like mindful and present, living in the present moment, but that's a kind of the aura that you'd get from that person. And to attract that partner, you'd have to become a match to that, which means you yourself have to become present and mindful. That's why this is so important. There's no negative side effects of being more mindful and being more present. You're only going to see benefits, and they're going to be so much more than you expected. It's not like a hot, sexy concept, mindfulness and presence. It's kind of boring and it's kind of bland, but these are the basics. This is the foundation of being a strong individual, having mastery over oneself. These are those hidden secrets that you see when you see somebody that walks in the room and they're like, okay, this person like commands some attention, some presence. This person has some aura. It's usually because they're mindful and they're present. You're not going to see somebody that's not present and they're like in a really good power position. This is how you become that dream version, that dream self. 100%. I 100% want this for you guys. This is the, if not the most important part of having a level equilibrium, a more like neutral, happy version of yourself. Okay? So I'm not going to run on too long with this video. I'm going to cut it off there. You guys know all my stuff is in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.